Welcome to Destination Eat Drink, the travel channel for foodies. I'm Brent Peterson, an American living in Portugal, and today we're in our city of Setúbal, and I'm in front of the anti-fascist statue on Luisa Todi Avenue. And this place is important because tomorrow is the Day of Freedom. It's a national holiday in Portugal, and it commemorates the Carnation Revolution, when the fascist dictatorship was finally overthrown in 1974. This sculpture behind me is now very popular in Setúbal, but it was dedicated in the 1980s, and back then it wasn't nearly as popular, but I think it really represents something very interesting. You can see the ropes in there that show fascism's chains and restraints on the people. And the city of Setúbal did a good thing here. They just put up a bunch of banners commemorating the women of the resistance. And they've got their stories up there, when they were arrested, why they were arrested, a lot of them with their mugshots. And you read their crimes, and it was like protesting the fascist government, Jehovah's Witness, trying to get men of army age, of draftable age, out of Portugal and into France. Crimes like that, they were in prison for years. And the fascist government, they didn't just imprison women, they imprisoned men, of course, too. Many were tortured, many were killed. So you can understand why the fascist government was so unpopular. By the 1970s, they couldn't feed their population, they couldn't provide health care. Portugal was one of the least educated countries in Europe, and there was wars, colonial wars happening in Portugal's colonies of places like Angola, Mozambique, and Guinea, places like this that were bleeding the country dry. So you can see why men of draftable age wanted to get the heck out of Portugal and go to places like France. So as the war became more and more unpopular, the fascist government became more and more unpopular, until finally there was this uprising that culminated in the toppling of the government. So the anti-fascist, anti-government fervor became so intense that on April 24th, 1974, the military decided to stage a coup. And how did the military get signaled the time to start the coup? Well, around 11 o'clock on April 24th, 1974, a DJ played the Eurovision entry from Portugal on the radio, and the rebel part of the army knew that was the signal and took up arms and started taking over the institutions in Lisbon. The TV, the radio, the newspaper, and started bringing tanks into the streets. People were told to stay home, but they didn't do so. They were so agitated about the government that they came into the streets to support the military's overthrow of the government. Within a few hours, the Estado Novo, the fascist regime, once led by Salazar, crumbled. Only a few deaths were recorded, and people were in the streets celebrating. Behind me is a brand new sculpture that was put up for the 50th anniversary of the Carnation Revolution. You can see the statue resembles a carnation. I like it. Some people in Setúbal, the reviews so far have been mixed, let's say. I think it's really beautiful. I really like how you get different reflections on it depending on where you stand. But why is a carnation the symbol of this revolution, of the overthrow of the fascists? Well, what happened was, on April 24th, a restaurant in Lisbon was celebrating its first anniversary of being open. And this time of year, April in Portugal, carnations are in bloom. So one of the employees brought armloads of carnations to the restaurant to hand out to patrons as a celebration. Well, the revolution was happening. They decided not to open the restaurant that day, and so this woman had all of these carnations. She went into Lisbon and started handing them out to soldiers. Soldiers, in turn, took the carnations and put them in the muzzles of their rifles. showing that flowers were going to be in guns, not bullets. And that became the symbol for the revolution. Now, every year in April, you'll see people on April 24th, April 25th, handing out carnations to people to remember the Carnation Revolution. And today, the 50th anniversary. Now, how do the Portuguese celebrate? Well, I'll tell you, right next to me is the Largo de Alphonse. And this is where on the 24th, tonight, there'll be a huge celebration. They've got a big concert planned, and there'll be food trucks, and people will be having a huge party. So it's going to be a whole lot of fun. This is Setúbal's waterfront called Fisherman's Wharf, and here's where the big culmination of the April 25th celebration will be tonight with a giant fireworks celebration. And since it's the 50th anniversary, I think it's going to be a pretty big fireworks display. First year we were here in Setúbal, we thought that all the celebration would take place on April 25th. So we went out on April 25th looking for things that people were doing, and soon came to find out that no, the party actually happened on April 24th. So today we're ready for tonight's party. We'll know to go out. It's going to be a late night though. Concert starts at like 10 o'clock and then the fireworks will go off at midnight. So it'll be a bit of a late night. On April 25th itself, the actual anniversary of the Carnation Revolution, that day is more somber. There'll be politicians laying carnations and making speeches, and political parties will have their parades and whatnot. But for the most part, it's families hanging out with each other and, you know, maybe going out for a meal or something like that. But the real party is tonight. So I'm glad we got our schedule right and we can enjoy this.
Sobre a calçada cai e rio de sangue do peito aberto sai. Vou protestar de não ser.
All right, that's it for the music. They're breaking down the stage right now, and we got to follow the crowd here down to the waterfront and watch some fireworks. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something about the Day of Freedom here in Portugal. It's been a great party here, and tomorrow will be a little more serious of a day as we remember the Carnation Revolution. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like it, subscribe to the channel so you can see all my videos. I do a lot of them, usually drop one every week. There's also a podcast that you can listen to. I'm Brent Peterson. Thanks so much for watching. See you down the road.